Hey guys, I've got this older 2004 f350 Super Duty 6.0 diesel with twin turbos, and so it's a V8 6.0. One of the issues I ended up having was that this had a decent amount of blow-by. You see how wet this is. You smell the oil in the air. I had no issues with the transmission fluid, but I did have a lot of smoking coming out of the back, and so you can see how dark the exhaust pipe is. Just a lot of soot, and so it's consuming a lot of oil, and I didn't realize what was happening was the car was actually shutting off randomly, or the vehicle shutting off. Look, this darn door, it doesn't close all the way. So there we go, now it's closed, and what's happening is the light was staying on, so hopefully the light turns off. Hey. So what we ended up doing initially, what I did, I just happened to stop somewhere at the gas station, had this stuff, and clearly I like Lucas. You know, I've never really know if stuff works or not, and you just hope that they're not selling us a bunch of, you know, snake oil or whatnot. But this one here is designed for diesel engines, and so all the old timers, like the gentleman just heard in the video there, just tell you, just get some 15W40 and throw it in the engine. That's all they ever use for diesels, and so regular synthetic would work, but I just happen to use this special diesel engine motor oil, and so what is long drain heavy duty motor oil, or whatever HD, it doesn't tell you what HD stands for. It may mean nothing, it's just advertising, I don't really know. Less soot, less wear than the CJ4 oil, so whatever that means, I don't know. Oh, meets and exceeds all these things. But if you go and look, all oils that have this little circle here means that it meets or exceeds all that bullshit in the front. So obviously that crap means nothing. Just pause, you can see it. So anyways, I put this in this truck. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas right now, but I drove to El Paso, Texas, and from Midland, more or less where I picked that up, to El Paso, I ended up having to put another gallon of motor oil. So it may have protected the engine, but it did nothing for whatever was causing the blow-by to occur. The rings were either stuck, or the rings are, you know, or the cylinder walls are scratched or damaged or something to that effect. I had no issues with power, I had no issues with whatever, and I did have issues with tires. So these tires are in decent shape, and they were only set to like 50 psi. I ended up getting to a truck stop, and they filled all my tires up to about 80 psi, and it was like 30 degrees outside. The little Indian gentleman that was there had to use my tools to make it happen, because at a tire shop he didn't have the proper tools to manage my truck. So I ended up with a brand new tire here, a decent tire on the inside, and then 2 brand new tires up front. But when I did that, I did end up getting 15 miles, about 15.5 miles per gallon, where initially when I had just put that in there, I was only getting about 11.5 miles per gallon. And so I'll be interested to see what I'm doing from Midland to here. I filled up, and the odometer still has the mileage from Midland to here, and I'll just go fill it up completely and see what my mileage is. But the point of this video was to tell you about this Lucas stuff. So I really wasn't expecting this to stop any smoking, and there's nothing here that says that it would stop smoking. Yeah, it says nothing about stopping any smoking of any kind, but I felt like this will clean the engine better, and I did end up changing the oil filter once I got to El Paso, and it was after I changed the oil filter and filled everything back up that it got me the 15.5 miles per gallon. So once I started heading back and I filled up again, not with this, with just regular motor oil, I ended up dumping a quart of this. So this is empty now, and I did end up I think I ended up putting some diesel fuel in there, cleaned it out, and then threw it into the tank. But I ended up using this here, and I have not checked the motor oil at all from El Paso, Texas, where I put that in, to here. So let me get the dipstick and see what it reads. I don't know if I can prop this up in a fashion that you'll be able to see the dipstick. I might just have to talk you through it. So I haven't even started the vehicle in about 3 or 4 days. I was about to start it and I said, well, let me check the oil level. Wow, the dipstick is reading proper. So I see the oil about right there, about halfway. So it could use like half a quart. But like I said, from here to Midland, I had checked the oil before I took off and it was full at a higher level than this because I had topped it off. And then once I got to El Paso in Midland, I put that gallon that I tell you I put in from Lucas, and it was that low already, so I ended up having to put 2 gallons technically. From here to Midland I put a gallon, and then from Midland to El Paso I had to put a 2nd gallon. So this thing was sucking up a decent amount of oil, and like I said, I haven't touched this dipstick since I turned it off about 4 days ago. And then yeah, it's reading right here just below the middle line. It's great, but I do believe that it was that Lucas that is so thick it's not letting anything go through the rings. So it's possible. Oh, another thing that I did do was I did get that Marvel Magic oil. I'll show you what I did, because I just did a lot of stuff to try to ensure the least amount of wear and tear of the engine. And I want to say it doesn't really matter if the cylinders may be scratched. I mean, obviously if you get enough metal loosened up in there and floating around, it'll eventually damage the engine. But oh, it's not in this side. I got lucky that these locks, I didn't have the key for it, but I went to this locksmith off of just south of I-30 in Fort Worth and Beach Street, just south and east of that intersection, about 4 blocks east of that bridge that's there on, I think it's Lancaster maybe, I don't really know, but wherever Beach and I-30, just south of that intersection. But I ended up buying this Marvel Mystery Oil. It was on sale. They're normally like 30 bucks. I paid like $16. I ended up getting 2 gallons. And you see I put about maybe a quart and a half of this into the engine back in El Paso. And that's supposed to really clean out your stuff. So if the Lucas didn't do it, that Marvel Mystery Magic should have done it. Excuse me. But like I said, I've topped it off with this, and I did not put any oil in the engine at all from El Paso, Texas to Fort Worth, about 650 miles. And I mean, maybe it's a combination of everything, because this engine has actually been bulletproofed and EGR deleted. You can see that the EGR is supposed to be there. You can see there's a cover there. I don't know if you can see it there. I don't remember where it's at. Maybe it's back here, wherever the EGR is supposed to be. But there's just a cover on it. So this engine's already been bulletproof, EGR deleted, and maybe even had the oil cooler either bypassed or removed. Oh, I believe that's it, way back there. Way back over there. So I don't know if I was told it's already been bulletproofed, EGR deleted, and oil cooler replaced. The oil cooler, the original one, is, first off, doesn't allow flow to go too well, and I guess it's kind of an iron-based metal, so it'll rust and rot through, and eventually it'll leak, and you'll have oil and water mix in the turbos and in the engine and destroy your engine. So, you know, Ford, again with their BS, you know, planned obsoleteness, destroying things on purpose. Luckily for me, I got a really good deal on this truck, and so yeah, I do have a lot of Fords, but that's because I know how to fix them, make them run. Like I said, I just ran this thing at least 1,500 miles in the last 3 weeks. It was my daily driver back in El Paso, and it did good enough. I did end up having to change out a wheel hub. You can't tell me, you know, it's starting to rust, but you can see how clean and chromatic that is. It's a new oil dust cover, where this one is not new. That's the original, but I'll probably end up changing out the bearings on that as well. It's quite a beast. I made a video on trying to take out this outer bearing. It was basically welded to the axle, and I ended up having to grind the leftover metal from the outer ring down and freed it up. That's really bad. I might back it up right now and get that wheel off that edge there so I don't rip it off if I try to turn my wheel. So I'll turn the wheel to the left and get it away from that corner there. I have no idea that was going on. You can see, put some brand new tires from Walmart. They gave me some bullshit about them not being able to balance them. So this wheel and that wheel, I ended up paying about 45 bucks a piece to mount and balance. I paid to get that balance. I don't think that guy actually balanced it. Excuse me. Walmart said they didn't have the proper adapters to balance these wheels. So I don't know. The guy said he balanced it. You can see there's weights on it. And I think he put these two weights on there. They look newer, but I don't really know. They distracted me by having me go inside while the guy switched tires out, and coincidentally, as soon as I was done paying, 3 minutes later, that was balanced and ready to be mounted. Which I would think such a big old heavy tire would take a little more than 3 minutes to balance. But the same thing with this. This was a second shop, a different shop, and apparently there were sister shops out there in Odessa, the only ones that were open on the Sunday, about 1 to 4 p.m. And same thing. I mean, this guy said it only needed a gram to balance. I'm not a tire guy, so I don't really know. But the other issue that I had was the ball joint, not the ball joint, the connecting rods in the front. Oh man, I can't really see. But I did have to open and close them, in part because this bearing was so bad, the wheels dropped down, and so it looked like the camber was very negative. And so once it was all changed out and I put new tires on both sides, I adjusted it for the 4th time, and man, it drove great. The wheel is actually not straight. It's actually turned pretty much 90 degrees. And so the good thing is that the wheel initially, with the way it was left, the wheel was pulling really hard, making the vehicle turn to the left. So I had to constantly turn the wheel to the right to keep it straight. You know, it's destroying the tires. But once I did the adjustment, it was great. The wheel actually was well centered, and the last 300 miles or so, I was able to drive it where the wheel would actually not pull, and I was just constantly, doing my small adjustments to stay inside the lane, of course. As I obviously do not drive super straight, but clearly stay within my lanes. 20 plus years of driving, I've never been in a car accident. So lucky me. Anyways, yeah, that inner tire blew out on me, and so the outer tire is now the inner tire, and we got a brand new outer tire on there. But what I'll probably end up doing realistically is getting all these tires and putting them on my personal vehicle. My vehicle has 4 new tires, and so I'll get maybe these 2 tires and put them on my vehicle, and then bring those tires over here. This truck is ready to sell, and I'll do that. Thanks for watching.